Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. This is Ziad Tariq Rashid wishing you a very pleasant day. Today, today I have two distinguished guests. I'll be talking about a topic that I've never in my life or in my career spoken about. It's mediumship, and I didn't know anything about mediumship until I met Rose last week, and God, she was amazing. She was wonderful, and she gave me a personal reading that blew my mind. Today, Roses graciously joined me and will be talking to you and to me about mediumship. And I have also another guest, Stephen Borola, which you met last time, I think twice before. And he agreed to meet us today for a third time and speak about tarot reading and energy healing. So today we have a, a very fat, a very heartily interview and meal because we'll be talking about all those topics: mediumship, tarot reading, energy healing. And both guests are here with me in the studio right now, and they have agreed to give you um, readings, and feel free to ask questions, and hopefully they will answer them because uh, that's what they're here for. Today they want to speak with you and talk to you about all that. So I know this is live right now on my channel on YouTube, and also live on FM Radio Baghdad, on my personal page on Facebook. So, without any further ado, please let me welcome my guests today, and I will start with the first one, Rose Di Giorgio. A medium ship professional, and she's going to talk to you, like I said, about mediumship. So please welcome Rose. Hello, Rose. Good morning.
Good morning, Ziad. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today
Good.
in this
Thank you for having
program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rose. So, welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about this technical issue. I'm going to continue now, and please welcome with me my first guest, Rose Di Giorgio. She will be talking to us about mediumship. I would like to welcome all the friends who started joining. Please feel free to ask your questions and your comments as well about the topic of mediumship. Without any further ado, let me welcome Rose Di Giorgio. Good morning, Rose.
Good morning, Ziad. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning. And good morning to all the viewers.
Thank you. Thank you. Rose, you are an advisor and a medium professional. Uh, what is mediumship? I asked you the question earlier. I would like to learn from you about mediumship. I don't have much experience. I haven't gone through this before. Never interviewed a medium, which is an honor and a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. And yeah, the stage is yours. Just tell us the concept of mediumship, what it means.
Wonderful. Thank you. So, a medium communicates between both worlds, which is the physical world and the spirit world. So, basically, everybody has a question: where do our loved ones go? Most believe that there's a higher above, that there's a heaven, and that there's a part where we all reside and we all reunite in one place, which is my beliefs is heaven. A medium interacts and is in the middle of both worlds, where we communicate in contacting the spirit world. And the spirit world, once our bodies leave here in the physical world, we come into this spiritual part of another dimension. So there is communication after life, and it is spoken many, many times between mediums that they do have this beautiful, precious gift to communicate between both worlds. So this is what I do, and this is who I am. So thank you.
Awesome. So, how do you get the messages from the deceased? Is it they come to you or you summon them? Do you post the question to the universe and then it comes to you as an answer? How does that work?
It's an interesting word. So in my vocabulary, I would never use the word summon. I don't summon them. I do not call upon them. When I am in the sacred space and spirit knows I'm ready to bridge both worlds, spirit will come by themselves. So I'm able to see the spirit and hear the spirit. So what they will do is they will describe themselves of what they look like. So I'm able to see a visual of them. So the first
How do you see them, as we look, or
I would see them as how
in?
we look, and sometimes in a more of a silhouette. It depends how they come through. I have seen them as I see you, Ziad.
Mhm.
So this is how I'm able to describe the connection between the right spirit. So when I start my mediumship readings, the first thing is I'm always bringing forward who I am seeing.
Yeah.
If that person does not make sense to the client, there is no communication between me and that spirit. So it is about seeing and hearing. And of course, there's different kind of feeling of what they make me feel, perhaps how they passed from the physical world. At the same time, their communication quite clear
Mm.
enough for me to interpret as I need to, but there's obviously I need validation to what is being spoken from this afterlife to here, and that would be from the client. So they do send messages, they do speak, they do have beautiful outlines of objects, letters, sentences, numbers, and it's just different ways they communicate. Very much different.
And how do you know who you are talking to? Do they introduce themselves to you? Do you just happen to know who this is?
It's a knowing. It's an 100% knowing. So that means when that loved one steps forward, when I bring forth what they look like and all the evidential things that are around and about them,
Mhm.
that is enough for the client to understand that they are connecting with their loved one. So I it's 100% knowing in my work.
Knowing that they are present.
Absolutely. I can't proceed if I don't see them.
And how do you feel their presence around you?
Warm, full of light, just beautiful. So when they step forward, you feel this warmth that runs just through your body, and you understand that you are making this beautiful connection with that spirit. And there's not just one sometimes, sometimes the family steps forward. It could be another one, another spirit, but you don't have a full entourage, but you're working with sometimes one or maybe three at the same time because they want to communicate. So it could be a grandfather, could be an aunt, could be a daughter, could be anyone that is looking to communicate with that client of mine that I would be sitting with.
Is this something that you learned, or it just
Um,
came to you? Is it a gift from the
from
universe?
childhood, from childhood. It was, I started at the age of
Can you
6.
can you tell me about it? Let's go back to your childhood.
Absolutely. It started at the age of 6. And I remember hearing spirit and whispers, lots of talking and feeling their presence. But I always felt safe. I never felt fear. I never felt where, I needed to hide from it. I honestly believed that there was so much more than our physical world at the age of 10. So I always knew that there's much more. But at the same time, when I started to hear the whispers, it was comforting, it was loving, but I
Mm,
could never make out. Can you imagine a 6 year old? I would never know what spirit would be trying to say to me. And then I started to see the visuals.
yes.
So the visuals started happening around 7, 8 years old, where I would see beautiful beings of white light, just precious. But I didn't understand that. So there was a little bit of a, huh, what is this? What am I seeing? But as I started to get a little bit older in my early teenage stages, then I started to realize that this is something special. This is something that is not just to be, taken that lightly as, but I kept going as going in through my teens. I thought it was interesting to be delivering messages, receiving validation. But then I realized this is where it stopped at 20 years old. This is no longer just for fun, Rose. This is a gift.
And who was your first encounter with?
My first encounter was at the age of 15 years old, and it
With
was a beautiful lady, my beautiful friend of mine that I was delivering messages, and this was more clairvoyant messages at that time. This was not bringing down a loved one. This was a clairvoyant message, and she started to see, yes, this is validated. This is valid. So she kept validating me as I went along. And at 15, as I kept moving forward, then I started to merge the two. That means my psychic abilities of my clairvoyancy, and then of course spirit. But I didn't merge them into a sense where they become one. They were
Yes.
separate. Yes. I
Fantastic.
needed to
Fantastic.
learn. There was a lot of learning lessons along my way. I'm much older at this point in my life, so it takes time. It really takes time to understand who you're communicating, what you're communicating, with what world are you there. So there's different dimensions of trying to understand things. So it doesn't it starts, but it takes time. It's like going to university. That's what I want to say.
Yes. With
Yes,
me in the studio also Stephen Borola, and he's waiting. And I would like to bring also Stephen. Stephen is an energy healer, and his domain is energy healing and tarot reading. And maybe after I speak for a little while with Steve about tarot reading, I'm going to ask him if there's also a connection between tarot reading and mediumship, and maybe I will put this question for both of you. So
please.
let me welcome Steve to the studio
Okay.
and say hello to him. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Ziad. Hello, Rose. How are you?
Hello, Steve. How are you? Good morning.
I'm good, thank you. Thank you.
So
Good.
good to see you all, and thank you for joining me this morning. Stephen, you're no stranger to our viewers. You're you're a tarot reader, and you have graciously given readings to our followers. Um, is there a connection between tarot reading and mediumship? In other words, do you have a feeling sometimes when you do like a tarot reading to someone? Do you feel a certain presence or energy that gives you, news or answers? I'm just curious to know.
Yeah. Okay. So let me preface a little bit. I want to go back a little bit, Ziad,
Sure.
because I want to, tap on to what Rose was saying about mediumship. So Rose is also a teacher. Okay. And I have taken mediumship courses through Rose.
Mhm.
And that has opened an ability to tap into tarot more. So this is where it comes in. So if I have to say that, are they both intertwined or do they work together? They can work together, but are they intertwined? Not necessarily, because tarot will give you messages about, like your present, a little bit about the future. It helps to answer questions about yourself internally because you can read for yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where the mediumship comes in this component, because remember, I did tarot for years before the mediumship thing hit me, right?
Yes, yes.
So I would read the cards and I would read their meanings and I would interpret what they were telling me so I could tell the client. When you learn mediumship, it adds another layer on top of the reading. So it's happened to me before where I'm reading for somebody and I get a message. I hear a message come through, and like specifically, like even a name, and I will let that client know. If they want to hear the message, I will let them know, and it adds a layer to the tarot reading.
Mhm.
Rose,
Fantastic.
what's your thought on that?
Rose, what's your thought about? Yeah,
I
exactly.
actually
I
no,
second
it's
my question.
I do. I completely agree. So there is the different abilities. So let's start from one thing. Everybody has the ability, the psychic ability. We're all born with intuition. So let's
Mhm.
start with that. We also are all born with being able to communicate with the other side. So let's just understand that part. This is a part of where my teachings.
I'm sorry. How do you do that?
Okay, so it's this. Okay, so Ziad, let's just say you are just walking around your home, and you smell this cologne. This
Mhm.
cologne that, let's say, a loved one. I'm not going to say a specific at this point. A loved one used to wear. This
Okay.
is part of a message that presence of your loved one is right there with you. So this is about tapping in more and more and more. The more you believe in the afterlife, the more you believe in the communication from the other side, the more you will start to rise more to understand that there is not only life after death, but there is communication between all. So all can be bridged.
So the spirit after it passes away,
Mm-hmm.
their job is not done on earth. Like, why would
No,
they
they're
remain, or why would they come back? Sorry,
they
just explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old,
no, no, no,
please.
that's okay. It's not that they're okay. There's a difference between earthbound spirits that are stuck. So
Okay.
let's understand this. I don't communicate with earthbound spirits. So
Why
this,
do they get stuck?
well, for many reasons, they could be attached to something here in the physical world. It could be so simple. It could be a bar. They could have been an alcoholic and they're so attached. It could be a home. They don't want to leave that specific home. It could be loved ones that hold them back. So there's a lot of earthbound spirits that do not cross over. And that's a completely different, that's out of my league. I do not communicate with earthbound spirits. And it's not to say that they're, they bring in this negative energy, but some of them do. So you have to be very, very careful. And this is why I do not communicate, or I do not
Yeah.
go in and try to cleanse people's homes if there is, a lot of, problems going on in that home with an earthbound spirit being stuck. I refuse to do that.
So what I understood from you about earthbound spirits, it's like the movie Ghost. Patrick Swayze was an earthbound spirit
Well,
because
he was a good one,
he was a good
but
one because he was killed and he didn't want to go until he finds, he
exactly.
helps
But
them
then
find who killed him.
that's right, exactly. So there is good earthbound spirits and
Yes.
there's not so good earthbound spirits. So you have to be very careful of who you're communicating with. But I don't communicate with them.
Okay.
So everybody does have the ability to receive messages from the other side. So whether it is taking in, again, the smell of a cologne, whether it is listening and hearing a message and feeling that it's coming from some other source, it could be coming from their loved ones, could be coming from the universe. It's about where your beliefs are, where you feel to understand what does exist and what doesn't.
Yes.
What's there and what's not. So there is a difference between the mediumship and intuitive readings and tarot. I have been doing intuitive readings since the age of 15. And
Yes.
that is a completely different thing. I would say when we're looking at tarot readings or intuitive readings, it's more based on the psychic ability that's coming through to interpret what's receiving from the spirit guides, from your angels, and that would be delivered into the client or somebody that you know. When it's mediumship for me, it is that direct connection of seeing that loved one to understand that I'm connecting hand in hand with them.
Yeah. So can I say there is interpretation in both mediumship and tarot reading, but the approach is different? Can I do that?
It is different. It is. I'll tell you why. Because when you're doing a tarot reading, you are actually delivering the message. When I'm communicating with a loved one that's crossed over, I am listening to what is coming through, seeing the visual, and I need to interpret. So they might give me one symbol that could say a rose. Well, that will mean nothing to me, but it might mean something to the client because that could have been their favorite flower.
Stephen, how does that resonate with you?
Oh, absolutely. Again, mediumship is very new for me and I'm still in the learning process, but I've done readings for clients as well. And, I've had things like, oh, a green car showed up. That means nothing to me. But to the client, that was the car that their grandmother gave them, their first car. So again, you see how that it resonates with them, but not necessarily the person that's delivering the message.
And how do you see that green card in the cards themselves, or
Well, no, that's
or as a message?
As a message. So that's that is like a mediumship message.
Yeah, and that could come through your third eye.
Yeah.
When so it's your third eye, and that's the visual, that itself. So that's what Steve's saying. So when he's receiving that message of that green car, it is something that is coming in front to show him this green car. So it is going through the clairvoyance, the third eye.
Yeah. So Ziad and like mediumship, Rose described it perfectly. For me, like she can see the actual physical being where I can't. I more hear messages and I feel things in my body. Right?
Okay.
So that is also part of mediumship, because they're called clairs, right?
Mhm.
Clairaudient, clairvoyance, all different types of clairs, and that's how you receive messages and you're able to deliver them.
So my question here, what makes you different than Rose? Why would she see the objects and the beings, whereas you only get a message or hear it?
Well, I think there's a few reasons or a few explanations for that. Number one, Rose, she's had that gift since she was little, right?
Mm,
She's also had many, many years of experience to develop that, right?
yes.
So when you think of mediumship, think of it as a muscle as well. You wanna practice, and the more you practice,
Mhm.
the more messages will come through, and they may come through in different forms,
Yes.
right? So I'm not at that level. I'm at the level of feeling and hearing.
Rose, what makes you certain that this is actually the spirit that is talking to you, not any entity? Because we're surrounded by different types of entities, and I think you're the best one who can talk about this. According to my own personal understanding, um, we're surrounded by like demons, elfish beings. There are spirits, and
Absolutely. It exists.
so, how do you know that this is actually the right person that came to you, not another entity like elvish or demonic?
First and foremost, I think the most important part is the knowing of the direct connection. It's so
Mm,
important for me. If I don't feel right with the actual communication, then I know something is off. I have enough experience to understand, to know what's coming from the white light to what's coming from a darker entity light. Okay.
you would know.
I would know.
Okay.
Absolutely. I
Okay.
would know. So this is where, I'm very, I'm not, I don't fear of any connections or communications, but I know where to proceed and where not. And I will tell you one thing, Sian, the most important part, people who have crossed over are full of light. They're full
Mm,
of peace. They're full of, love. There's no there's nothing that would be delivered, and nothing should be delivered from a medium that would be out of tune. I'll be honest with you.
true.
When they cross over, all they know is peace, peace and love.
No matter what they've done in their lives.
They have reviews to go through. It's not just going, it's not just departing, leaving the physical world, and I'm on the other side, I'm in the afterlife. They've got a lot of reviews to go to, and that comes to my beliefs. It could be other people's beliefs, universe, source, anything else, but mine is God. So there's reviews.
Okay.
They will see their own reviews as they are going up.
In the process or after
Process.
of
Process.
departure.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's not like you're there's certain levels, and I believe in many of the religions there is certain levels before you get to the highest of the highest.
Yes.
So it's not just we depart, close our eyes, and we're crossed over. There's a lot of reviews. We have reviews of what we've done wrong, what we've done right, how we've hurt people, how we made an impact on people. There's so much reviews. So unfortunately, between that part is between the physical, and the higher above.
So when a human being is in the process of dying or leaving,
Mhm.
uh, it's not only a matter. This is maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, or this is what I understood from you. When the soul starts to leave the body, that takes certain time, maybe
Absolutely.
maybe days, maybe even
Months,
months,
months, could be longer.
longer. So it's not only they're not only transitioning or passing, they're also being reviewed.
Well,
Is that what you were saying?
it's like a judgment, right? They go through their own reviews of what they've done
So the
good
judgment
in.
happens on earth while they're still here.
I don't know to answer that completely, but I believe it's in the transition, but I can't say 100%. I
Okay.
cannot say. So I'd
Okay.
rather not give my thought to that. But I feel that it would be in transition. That's what I
Okay.
feel.
And
Yes.
they would communicate this with you. They would tell you, like, we've been reviewed before we passed.
Oh, no, no. That part they do not speak. What they do speak to a medium is when they have crossed over. So
Yes.
that means they've crossed over. They basically will give me evidential material that their presence is with me and
Yes.
that the loved one that's here in the physical world can validate exactly what they're saying. So you're basically having this communication with spirit, whether it's a half an hour, you're communicating with the spirit and they're telling the loved one here in the physical world that I'm here. And this,
Yes.
and Rose, tell them this. Rose, say this. And only the person that's receiving the messages would understand how profound that loved one is right with us, delivering the messages.
Right.
So they're not in the review per se, delivering messages. No,
Yeah.
no, no.
So right now I have questions. They started to come from the viewers, and I don't want to neglect them. It's just I was excited to ask my guests as many questions as I can because I want to learn too, and this provides me also some background about the topic itself. So let me look at some of your questions. Of course, Yusuf Nab'a, the founder of FM Radio Baghdad page, he's telling both of you it's a privilege to welcome you, Rose, and thank you for sharing this moment
Thank
with
you.
us. Wasim was saying good morning, and he's thanking both of you. Hanadi Kadam, my friend from the UK, she say very happy to see you back with your new broadcast and great content. It's Hanadi from London, UK. Hi, Hanadi. Please ask questions if you want to ask any questions about mediumship or tarot reading. My both guests will be happy to answer you. The first question comes from Wasim Suleiman from Sweden. Wasim is saying, is there more than dimension they live or be into Rose? The question is to Rose, and what I understood from the question is there more than one dimension?
Yes, I will say yes. 100%.
Okay. In what sense? What
Well,
does it mean? One dimension, more than one dimension.
I think when I look at the universe being infinite, right? So we don't know exactly how much is out there completely. It's a belief, it's research of what we understand, of what we know to be able to understand in this world that there is much more than just the one dimensions. So I
Mhm.
do believe that there is more than one. I really do. Not everybody could agree with what I would say, but I strongly believe that there is. Otherwise, we wouldn't live in such a universal world of how we live
Yeah,
in this universe. So I don't feel we just stay at this one dimension. I feel there is so many more dimensions that we still need to probably even explore.
true.
Yeah. Steve, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, I mean,
Indeed.
we look at right now, we say we're living in the 3D world and our existence is elevating to 4D and 5D. And
Mm-hmm.
what that means overall is just our light beings, our the amount of love that we have and so on is supposed to increase. Okay? Despite of what's going on in the world right now, we're elevating, right?
Yes,
As a species. Okay,
exactly.
and that's why a lot of what we see right now, a lot of injustices are coming forward because we are elevating and we see it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yusuf has a question, or it's a comment. He's saying there is no scientific evidence to support the existence of a soul. My question is, what is your evidence, like videos, recording voices, etc.? Because I'm so skeptical about it.
So I'll answer quickly just before Rose does, because I know she's got more on this than I do. But yes, Ziad, there is actually a video where scientists have weighed, okay, after a person passes, there's actually, they get lighter. and there has been videos showing a spirit leaving the body. So scientifically, yes, it has been proven. Now I'll turn it to Rose.
Okay. So it's kind of interesting because um, Dr. Eben Alexander, okay, was one of the neurosurgeons who had a near-death experience. And he has a book out there, he has a video out there. He's just one of many. So I could say we look backwards and there would be maybe at that time no scientific proof. But
Yeah.
in today's age, there is many, not just neurosurgeons, but many people who have had near-death experiences to come back and speak what they have seen in the afterlife. So he's just one of many, but there is an actual, I don't know it offhand. It's not sure the website itself, but it's actually people writing in and giving their proof of stories of their NDEs and out of body experience. And I have experienced an out of body experience. So I didn't cross to the complete other side, but I know what it's like to get close to the pearly gates. So I will say that.
I'll come back to this later.
This is a part where I'm writing about, so I have to keep it very quiet until it's out in my book.
Okay. But I'm coming back to it.
That's fine, but there is proof of life after death with many near-death experiences. So hopefully
Okay.
that helps to your viewer.
Yes. I want to say hello to Ziad 505. He's saying in Arabic, a very interesting topic. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Ziad.
Thank you.
Wasim is saying, thank you for your answer. I admire it for sure. Thanks again, Rose and Stephen. Haytham is saying, I think Haytham is joining us from the US. Correct me if I'm wrong, Haytham. Haytham is saying, I have a question if possible. Is it possible for a spiritual expert to obtain information that might be important to him or someone else for the inhabitants of the spiritual world to benefit from it in real life? Does that seem possible? In other words, can the other world be influential in our lives?
I would say yes. 100%. I feel like he's asking, can they be a part of our life?
Yes,
Am I
that's what I
understanding this right?
understood from the question. Yes.
Well, as a medium, I say yes, because this is what I do daily. So I do believe that the loved ones not only communicate, but also show show proof of their presence of being with the loved ones. But I will say one thing, the biggest answer for this one, they do not intervene.
Mhm.
So they can be a part of your life, but they do not intervene. It's just like angels. Angels are a part of us, or they're amongst us, but they do not intervene. And
Is there a possibility that they might intervene in certain instances, or if they sense a certain danger, or no?
no, I do feel, because I have loved ones that's crossed over as well, and I have a very close loved one. So when I have come into a certain situation, it's something that I see very quickly.
Mhm.
I can't even say in seconds. It's something that I am alarmed so quickly that yes, there is guidance. There is, advising. They're telling me something immediately. That's up to me to take that message in quickly and understand it. So they just don't intervene, but they are there to guide and deliver the messages. They are. And you got to be really quick in paying attention to it and
Yeah.
understanding them. It's like the guides, spirit guides. Angels and
Yes.
spirit guides are the same thing. You could be driving along and all of a sudden you're told to make a left, but you ignore your intuition. That is the spirit guides, the angels, a loved one communicating with you. But you keep going straight, and what happens after that? There's an accident.
An accident, yeah, or something
Yeah.
wrong happens.
So they just don't intervene, but they do walk with you.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
This happens a lot with me. Sometimes, like, I'm driving, I swear, I'm driving somewhere, and then I get this hunch feeling like turn left, but I ignore I turn right or I take a different way, and then I get stuck, for instance,
Exactly. So next time
in
you
a
know
traffic
to
jam.
listen to your intuition, listen to
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
guides, the angels, perhaps even your loved one.
Indeed, indeed. A question from Asma Saad Al Chalabi. Thank you, Asma, for your question. Does this communication hurt the soul you communicate with?
No, not from my understanding and experience. No, they're actually quite very happy to be able to step forward and be bridged with their loved ones here.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. No.
A question from Cat C. Thank you for the question. I always thought when we died, we just separated from our egos and moved into other forms. Can our loved ones still speak to us once they've transitioned into another form?
Well, yes, this is why I'm here. They do communicate with us. Absolutely. That is correct. The egos are left behind. Correct. But I do have spirit when I communicate with spirit, they're still sometimes at that time letting me know of how they were in the physical world. So they could have been miserable. And
Yeah,
I will explain how this loved one was always miserable and just never smiled. But there is no ego with spirit. That I will agree with. But the other part, as far as can they still communicate when they've transitioned?
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me welcome Rola Abdel Jabbar. Thank you for joining. She says, hello, guys.
Hi,
Hello.
Rula.
Thanks for
Hello.
your time. Thank you. And Asma is saying, thank you for your answer.
Thank you, Asma. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I have a question now. It might look weird, but I'm going to ask it anyway. And the question is to Rose. Rose, do you feel anything right now? Like a
Actually,
presence or anything
I actually do.
regarding anyone who's
I
amongst the
actually
audience?
I actually do. So there was two presents that have stepped forward. I feel like one is a younger gentleman, and I feel like he was about 45 to about 55. So I'm going to give him more in the 50s.
Okay.
And he's telling me he's a brother, and he passed away tragically and unexpectedly. So he's showing himself to be very slim. I feel like his face is quite slim too at the same time. His hair is to the side, and he's kind of got like a darker hair in his younger days, but a little bit of, I would say, silver gray in there. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a salt and pepper. So this is
Okay.
the gentleman that's stepping forward and just wanting to communicate. I feel like this is in connection to somebody on the panel, not in the panel, sorry, in the audience.
And the audience,
And he just wanted to say
do you know
hello.
their names or their name?
It
Who does he
takes
want to communicate with?
It takes me time. I am an evidential medium. It takes time. So if we're on air, I can't always be so fast to
Yes.
interpret how they sound out the name.
Yes. Yes.
But I am getting a letter with the letter A in there. The
Okay.
letter A.
So if you have anyone with the letter A who's passed away in these descriptions, please say it's me because they want to talk to you. Rola is telling Steve, good to remember me. Nice to see you here.
I finally met her in person, Ziad. What a beautiful woman.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'm asking. So you have Rose, you have this presence so far, and you
Mhm.
said there's someone else.
There is a female, and I feel it's a motherly figure. She's saying it's a mom. But
Okay.
it could be to somebody. It's definitely a mom. So she was a mom when she was here in the physical world, but I feel like she's saying it's her niece that's on in the audience. So a
Niece.
niece, yes. So it
Okay.
is a motherly figure. So it could also represent as an aunt to this person on the panel. And she
Okay.
has darker hair, and I feel like it's kind of more fuller hair,
Yes.
little bit more voluptuous in her body,
Okay.
brown eyes, and very happy soul. And I have to say, a smoker.
A smoker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you know anyone in these descriptions, they're here. They want to talk to you through Rose. Let's switch now to tarot reading. Rose, and you mentioned, like we know Steve as a tarot reader, but you mentioned tarot reading, and you mentioned also that there's a connection between tarot reading. The approach is only different. In tarot reading, you get messages from the card itself,
Yes,
um, and with mediumship, you get the message from the spirit itself.
from the loved one. Yes.
Okay, from the loved one. I keep saying spirit.
No, but as spirits, it's a proper word, but I
It's a
say
proper word.
loved one. Yes.
Okay. Do they get intertwined for you when you do tarot reading? Like if I ask you to do a tarot reading and all of a sudden you find yourself doing mediumship.
Always, always, always. So no matter where I am, I could be in a restaurant and I could be
Okay.
enjoying myself and having a cake and a coffee, and spirit shows up. So yes, yes. So if I'm doing tarots,
Okay.
of course, that means, but I don't allow myself to be busied by them. That's the best
Yes.
way I can say it. So when I'm doing my tarot, I combine the both. The only reason why is because the spirit will show up, and then I will just place tarot on hold for a split second. Ask first of all if I may deliver a message to the client from your loved one on the other side, because you just can't go ahead and deliver it.
Yeah.
You must ask permission. And then, of course, I deliver. So they do come in when I'm doing tarots, pretty much good 98% of the times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Niaz from Baghdad has a question, and I would like to say hello to Niaz. He's a very good friend. Why some of my dreams are still in my mind when I wake up?
Interesting. Well,
A lot of us remember the dreams.
I feel so too. I mean, I dream of, it's like, when you're astro traveling.
Mhm.
So you're astro traveling. So it's like deja vu. You've
Yeah.
been here, you've been there, you've seen this person. I believe every dream has a message. Every dream.
Yeah.
Whether you are able to interpret it or not, I'm not sure, but most of the times I do pretty much interpret the dreams. I do. But the understanding of why, I guess you are meant to understand what is happening. There's a message in there. So I can't really say much for the gentleman that's asking this question, but he has to really look deep to understand what is in that message, the surroundings, the colors, where were you, the time, things like this. So
Yes.
it's important to really take note. And I normally, what I do, I have a journal and I will write down quickly when I'm woken up at around maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I will write down exactly what is in that dream for me to wake up and interpret it.
Maybe I think this is a very good point that Niaz touched upon,
Mhm.
dreams. So we all dream, we all get messages through those dreams, but those messages, could it be coming from the out, like how do we get the message? Are they given to us, delivered to us through this dream, or does our souls travel and see these dreams and come back to us? How do they
That's it.
work?
I'm not an expert on that, so I
Hmm.
can't really say 100%. But I believe that because of the astral traveling, we do see we're at the place, the time, the location, things like that. But I feel when we're sleeping, we're always traveling. That's my
Yeah.
beliefs. But I could be wrong on that. I don't feel we're just sleeping. It's the most quietest time. That is why, Ziad, loved ones, when you are sleeping, they come to you to visit you in a dream. It's called a dream visit
Yeah.
because you are at peace, you're at relaxation.
Yes.
So, as far as a dream, I feel that it is the most quietest time of your body to relax and to let go. So,
Hmm.
this is probably why things come and why we travel, because we've been there in a past life. That's another topic. Past
Yes.
life.
Yes. Yes.
I don't want to confuse
Indeed.
you.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
And dreams are real.
yeah.
Dreams are real. There is 100% an interpretation for it. You might think, why did I go back to a childhood sweetheart? Well, there's a reason why. We're all here to learn. It's like a learning lesson in this lifetime, from past lives to where we are today. We'll never stop learning. This is why we're
Yeah.
here on earth, is to learn.
And Asma can relate to that too when she says some of my dreams feel so real.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes.
Rula has a question for Rose. Rose, is there any soul who wants to speak to me? Thanks for help and reply.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I got the two that are with me right now. And if that doesn't connect, I can only say that I feel like a grandmother wants to say hello to her. So if you can understand Rula, there's a grandmother on the other side, and she's just stepping forward to say hello. She's quite small, I have to say. Would you understand that?
So answer us, please, Rula, or call if you want. You know how to call. And let's see if this is your grandmother or someone else's grandmother. Wasim from Sweden has a question. Why many of life details we live and deal with like we seen it or lived it
Oh,
before
Deja
almost?
vu.
Deja vu and
deja vu. Exactly, Steve. Yeah.
premonitions? Is it premonitions?
Well, premonitions is seeing the upcoming, and that's something that was very, very normal for me at a very young
Uh-huh.
age. Premonitions, but deja vu. Exactly, Steve. Yeah, deja vu.
Okay. Rula, yes, please. So it's her
Okay.
grandmother.
Okay.
Okay, Rula,
So
this
I
is for you.
so I feel like what she is saying is there was a close relationship between the two of you, but I feel like there was time missed in between, feeling that you could have spent more time with her and she could have spent more time with you. So I won't go into a full-fledged reading because it takes time to wait back for the answers. I just feel like she's just wanting to say to you the amount of time that she spent with you in the physical world is a lifetime of love, and she wants to thank you for being with her each and every day. And she
Mm.
keeps saying to you, you have a picture of her. She says that you actually at times just look and say, you know what? Just remember the most funniest things that you guys both experienced and both had. And she's
Oh,
saying thank you for that.
and she's saying my grandmother. So this is her grandmother.
Beautiful. So I hope she can connect with the message that is coming through. And I don't know why she talks about a journal. So it's something to do with writing or a journal. I'm not sure what you do. I'm not sure exactly how things are. Maybe you're learning something at this moment, but there is something to do with writing and a journal. So it could be something that you write in, maybe your personal, maybe something to do with work. But I feel like there's something very sacred that you keep close to you. And she's saying to keep continuing. She also says that she understands and that she knows that you do believe in the other side of her communication. So she's very grateful to that.
Fantastic.
So I just want to say something.
Please.
So you can see Rose's abilities, and Rula right now, she keeps answering yes. So she's able to resonate with the messages that are coming from Rose.
Mm.
And this is just a snippet of what Rose can do. So if there's anyone out there like Rula, I really urge you, contact Rose and set up a session. Because the one thing that Rose hasn't discussed yet is when we receive messages from our loved ones from the other side, it
Mm.
also helps us heal and it provides us with some peace, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I really urge people to contact Rose.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And I do that
Thank you.
too. Rose earlier blew my mind when
Oh,
she spoke with my dad. That was the first time ever
yeah.
happens to me. And
You
yeah,
know, you know something's yeah.
it
The
was
most
shocking.
beautiful part, there's a lot of non-believers.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the most beautiful, this is not about me convincing anybody to believe or
Yes,
they should. This is about bringing my gift to bridge both once again. And if
exactly.
they could leave with a sense of peace and that love, knowing that their loved ones are safe, they're on the other side, and that they're still watching over them, this is what we want in life. So I believe everybody, even if they're non-believers, I believe everybody is still curious, where does my loved one go?
Yeah.
You know? Thank you
Rola's
very much, Rula. Thank you.
yeah, Rola's saying thank you so much. Actually, she was the mother figure in all
Wonderful.
the aspects.
Thank you. Thank you, Rula.
Um, can I share my story of how I met Rose?
Yes, of course. I was
Okay.
about to ask you that.
Actually, okay. So Rose, she was recommended through a friend of mine just to connect, right?
Yes.
So Rose had set up a Zoom call, kind of similar to what we're doing right now.
Mhm.
And immediately she picked up on my grandfather. And she described him to the T. She told me how he passed away. She gave me details that I didn't even know that I had to ask my mom.
About
And
him. Yeah.
about him and exactly how he passed and so on. Because
Yeah.
I knew some details, but not the full extent, right?
Yes. Yes.
And she was spot on, like spot on. It was unbelievable. And I've always believed in these abilities, but I've never seen it in action. And then when she did that to me, she made me 100% believer. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've seen you along the way now. It's a blessing that we've crossed paths, because
Yeah.
I've seen you along the way, and not only to be in my mediumship workshop, I've seen him just literally explode in it. I have to say, he doesn't. He's too difficult on himself. I don't believe that. I've seen his work. His work is very, very divine, very beautiful, and very connecting to spirit. So I have to say that back to you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
So
Thank
well
you.
done.
Niaz has a comment here. Maybe very hard work we have and dreams a little, and many people don't dream when you ask them.
So true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
Steve.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's absolutely right. There, we do dream every single night. That's what science tells us. But whether or not we remember that in the morning when we wake up is a whole other story. And I feel like when you do wake up and you do remember the dream you had, there's a reason for that. There's a message that needs to come through. And like what Rose was saying before, take out a journal and write immediately in the journal, because as time goes on, you're going to forget the details. Okay. But if you have it in the journal and you maybe a few weeks from now, you're like, oh my God, that was my dream.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what's going to happen.
Yes.
It happens a lot.
It's so true. It's like, how many people are connected to numbers, angel numbers, right? So
True.
this is something that they connect. There's messages in numbers as well. So it's definitely a good idea to continue to always journal what you do have from a dream.
Very interesting. I can relate to it. I remember very well when I was when I applied for my job to Al Jazeera channel in Qatar. That was back in the 90s, and then the visa was very late, and all of a sudden I had a dream, and in the dream they gave me these numbers, 14, 5, and 98. And I didn't know what those numbers, and believe it or not, I forgot about them. And then the visa came on the 14th of May, 98.
Wow.
You can't make this up.
That gave me that gave me a date.
That's right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's that. Yes. So how did that happen? Like who gave me this message? And I didn't understand it at that time. I just forgot about it. But the numbers kept there. I was like, what are these numbers?
I believe to say that is your guides, your spirit guides.
Okay.
And you have more than one spirit guide, so you have a spirit team on the other side, but that is your spirit guides delivering that. Just profound. But you see, you can't make that up.
No, you can't. So let's talk about now about I know you have a limited time with us, Rose, and I appreciate your time and personal
Thank you.
involvements. Could you tell us about your mediumship courses and mediumship sessions and that business in total? How are you running it, and how can friends reach you and communicate with you? Just please tell us about it.
Okay, thank you. So I'm international, so I do international Zoom calls with any kind of readings, but let's focus on the mediumship at this moment. So with mediumship readings, it is an hour mediumship reading, just me, your loved ones, and the client. And I will deliver within that 1 hour evidential material of the presence of their loved one. So in order to get a reading, it's You can be found on my website at www.heavenonearthhealingcenter.com, or you can go to www.rosedegiorgio.com. On the upcoming workshop, I have an upcoming one coming October 25th. It's an 8 weeks program, and it's every week for 2 hours, and running from October, I think, right till December, if I'm right. I can't remember my date out there. It is on my website. And during that time, you will learn how to sit in the space, to understand and interpret spirit, communicate with spirit. But there's also different ways of working with it through psychometry, remote viewing. You're also doing pet communication too. So people find pets, they're their family. So we're also learning that in connecting with pets, because pets do bring down their presence as well. And there's just different kind of techniques of learning how to communicate. The interesting part the students love is when volunteers come in. So the volunteers come in for free on a panel, and they're constantly practicing in the actual, I would say, pretty much all the 8 weeks, Steve. Yes?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that can be also found on my website.
I would love to write the website on the screen. Is it Heaven on Earth Healing Center?
Yes.
All
with
one
a,
words?
yeah, with a CENTRE.com. Yes. Yeah.
healingcenter.com.
Mm-hmm. Thank you,
Okay.
Siad.
Of course, I'm going to put it on the screen right now. So, and correct me if it's wrong. Heaven on Earth Healing Center.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So this is Rose's website. If you would like to communicate with her regarding any reading or any communication with your loved ones, you can communicate with her on this website. More questions coming, more comments coming. Uh, if your time allows, Rose, may I read some of them?
Yes, please. Thank you.
What time would you like to leave?
Um,
To ask this question.
are you guys on all day? No. No, keep going.
Okay,
I'm
sure.
I'm good. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. So, Cat C has a question. I have a recurrent dream that I own a massive house that has all these wings and rooms I didn't know it had, and it fills me with joy and wonder.
These wings.
What do you mean by wings? Is it like
Um,
pavilions or?
no, like wings to me is like the east wing or the west wing. So the house is so big that it has different hallways and things like
Ah,
that.
okay. Okay. So a massive house.
And I have to ask, is this the cat C that I know? And Rose knows.
I don't know them, so you know, maybe it's one of your acquaintances.
Actually, you know what I have to say? I want to just kind of give a little bit of an interpretation. I feel it's a very beautiful dream, and it's showing this individual who is writing that there's so much more to her path, so much more into her venture of what's to still unfold. So with seeing all these beautiful rooms with different wings, there's so much more that they're going to bring her to be doing in this
Okay.
upcoming lifetime.
Yeah, and I agree with that because I know who this person is. I feel like each hallway or each section of the house is something different for this person to explore.
Absolutely.
A new soul path, a new journey, right? I think that's the message that's coming through.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful, Steve.
Warqa Ahmed from Qatar, I think. Hello, Warqa. She says, I see similar or repeated numbers most of the time when I look at digital clock like 2222, 1818, 1111, etc. I hope you can tell me what does it mean.
Well, I think, Steve,
Yeah.
you'd probably agree with me. I mean, these numbers are on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
What I'll say is the easiest thing to do is just Google search 1111. But when you do that, put say 1111 spiritual meaning, right? So that
Yeah.
it'll come up with the things that Rose and I resonate with, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're the easiest things. And there are books out there as well. And there's many ways of interpreting 1111. So I would definitely say, do a Google search, because I know angel numbers, but I'm not an expert at them. So it's easy to find on the internet.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But I think I could just kind of give her a little bit of a layout. It's guidance, harmony, balance, things like that. See, this is what's happening in those numbers, especially
Yeah.
when we're talking about the 222. But it's always best, just to Google them, because there's going to be different meanings, and every meaning's got to either fit or it doesn't connect. So it doesn't mean because you're reading it's going to connect with you. So make sure that meaning really deeply connects with your inner soul.
Yeah. Asma asked me to put the website's name on the screen again. So here it is. You can see it, Asma. It's there. I would like to say a big hello to my friend Ali Kablan. Hello, Ali. Lena Gansen. Hello, Lena. Thank you for joining. The number is increasing now. I think people just started to come. So good to see you all. If you've missed any of the information, please, you can see it recorded. It's going to be recorded as soon as we are done from the live. So it's going to be there on my website, and you can watch it. Niaz has a final question. Why we remember our childhood but not remember the life we have it now? Like, why do we remember the past and we don't remember the present?
That's interesting, because I don't remember a lot of my past, my childhood.
Yeah.
I really don't. I remember specifics. I remember dreams, things that really stuck out. But if I go back, I can't remember everything. And if it's today, I mean, I think for me, I would retain what I need to retain, if that's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
can't really. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, and I'll agree with Rose too. I mean, there are certain things in my past I remember clearly and vividly, but I hear a lot of my friends talking. They're like, "Oh, in kindergarten I did this," and I'm like, "How do you remember that?" I can't remember that. But I'll say certain things, and I'm sure Rose and she's probably the similar as me. The more you are on a spiritual level, the more you learn to live in the present, because you cannot control the past and you cannot control the future. It's about living in the now, right? And so that's why Rose and I, we're always focused on the now, because that's where we are.
Yes.
Very true, Steve. And my mind is always busy. I mean, it's always, even when I'm not doing readings, it's busy. It's like everybody else's is busy, right? But mine, add on the spirit world, add on the messages that I'm receiving. So these are things my mind it doesn't hold what it needs to not hold. It lets go.
Yeah.
So, but I wish I did remember a part of my childhood. I wish I did.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a topic, a very wider topic, and I hope you agree with me to talk about it in next time, like the past experiences and the trauma and all that. If you would like to, if you agree to speak about this topic, I would love to share the conversation with you one day.
That would be
and
lovely.
talk about past experiences and past traumas.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Rola saying Rose and Steve are great together.
Oh,
Thank you.
And she's
thank
thanking
you.
us.
Thank you.
Kat C, she's correcting you regarding sections of the
Section
house.
house. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Wasim, thank you. He's sharing. He's doing publicity for you. Wasim is sharing your website, and
Thank
I
you,
said his
Wasim.
name.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Very sweet of you, Wasim. Wasim is a very sweet person. Asma thanks us. Okay. This question is, can we communicate with living people? You can, right? What did you mean? I don't understand this question. Can you understand?
Yeah.
I think what she's saying is, can we channel messages from people that are living as opposed to people that are passed away?
Oh.
So So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll
you
let you answer this
can.
question.
So for example, Ziad, I know Rose will talk in more details, but if I'm reading for you, Ziad, and then there is, I don't know, let's say you have a family member overseas, can I pick up on messages from that family member? And the answer is yes.
Hmm.
So I will give you an example. I did a
Mm,
tarot reading for a certain person, and part of the reading had to do with somebody that they were involved with that's here, that's alive,
yeah,
and that person's name came to me and I had no idea who it
yeah,
was. And so
yeah,
when I revealed the name, the person was shocked. So yes, we can communicate, we can get messages from people that are still here.
from the living.
Yes. And
That
I'll
is.
turn it over to Rose. I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
she has
actually
more.
I
Yeah.
agree with you, Steve. And I think that you could be in a room that you walk into a room and there's could be hundreds of people, but then all of a sudden you're faced to look at one and you receive this message. It doesn't mean you're going to go deliver it, but you receive this message, something about them. So yes, if that's the question that she's asking, I believe yes, I'm going to say yes, we can communicate with living
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ali Kablan is saying, I really extremely remember the days of my childhood rather than the events which happened after.
Maybe,
Good
another
for
thing
you.
also, maybe there's things that we don't want to remember.
Hmm.
There could be things maybe in my past life or even in my early childhood that I don't want to remember, or I'm not
Hmm.
meant to remember. Maybe I haven't dealt with certain things. Who knows? So I feel that we really hold what is important. To me, at this point in my lifetime, I feel it's got to have some substance for me to really hold. And
Yes,
then because I don't feel that, we have enough time to really waste in this lifetime.
yes.
Make it important, make every day count.
I would like to welcome my very good friend Alan Allens. He's a musician. Uh, he likes to be involved also in the spiritual world. Alan is a very gentle soul, and he's saying how you communicate with dead people, how they look, how you hear them, or you feel the speech. Alan is joining us from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
I think Rose can answer this
Yeah.
question. Go
So
ahead, and maybe I'll turn it over to Steve later on.
sure, thank
Yes,
you. So I have answered the question already. So just to recap certain things, um, I see the loved ones that have crossed over in a form of how I see normal people, and
yes,
I also see them in a vision form. But I've got very, very clear detail of what they look like. So that is one. How do I hear them? It goes through my clear audience, and then it comes right up into my clairvoyance. So these two are very powerful for me to work side by side together. um, or how do you feel the speech? It's not so much the speech, it's the way it's being sounded out to me. So if I'm hearing a name, for example, like Martha, I will be hearing the sounds of like mar. So it takes me time to actually put that name together, but in the end I will come with very close to that name, or I will actually have the name. So I do my best to interpret. So basically, I hope I've answered your questions.
mhm.
Everybody is different in how they communicate with the people who have departed, but in my case, that's how I see them.
Maybe I have a question now. It's
Mhm.
a follow up question to Alan's.
Yeah.
Um, do you? So it's not language that you hear; it's ideas that are being uh, revealed to you. That
No,
communication, how does it come?
I
Does
can
it come
hear
as an idea,
sound,
or
sounds. No.
you hear actual sounds like the
Yes,
sounds we
yes.
produce?
I want to go back to when I was 6 years old. The
Okay,
talking, the whispers, the sounds. I just could never make out the words. So I actually hear, but they're not speaking so clear like us.
okay,
So it takes them time before it gets to through me to
yes.
understand what I'm hearing.
And what do you need from a person? Like, let's say someone comes and say, "Hey, Rose, I would like you to communicate with a loved one." Do you ask for their name?
No,
Do you ask?
no, no.
Okay,
When somebody books a reading, I take the reading in and I say no details. That's the only two words they will hear. No details. The reason why is they're not to feed me. This is my work to communicate between
Yes.
the physical world and the spirit world.
Okay.
So all they do is validate me.
Hmm.
So if I'm saying that I have a gentleman by the name of George stepping forward, can you understand the name George? That could be a loved one, that could be somebody that's with them in heaven, or a connection from the physical world, maybe a nephew.
Okay.
So all I need is validation to keep going forward, but they're not to bring me any material to me, not to my ears.
Steve?
Yeah. So when I get messages, I do hear things like Rose. Sometimes the names, I'll hear, like, for example, George. Like she mentioned George. It's funny you mentioned that because I
Yes.
had it in my head, Rose.
Oh,
Um, but the name is not actually George. Okay, it's the
Mhm.
G, because the name kind of sounds elongated sometimes.
Mm,
So I'll hear George, right? And it's
mm,
the J sound that's really standing out, and that could be part of the name. The other way that I communicate is I feel a lot of things. So if someone's passed away, sometimes my chest will get really heavy and I
mm,
can't breathe. And that indicates to me something to do with their passing had to do with their chest, maybe a heart attack, maybe pneumonia in the lungs, something like that. Or I'll get a pain in the head and they've had like either an aneurysm or a tragic car accident with their head hit the steering wheel, something like that, right?
mm.
I feel it.
Hmm.
So let's come
That's
back to the sounds. Sorry for interrupting. Uh, the sounds you said they come like in a wave, or is it like a long wave or a short wave? I
it's
gathered wave.
okay. So it's a very, very soft sound,
Mm,
okay, of how it's being delivered. But what happens with me, and I don't know about other mediums, for me, once the sound comes through, then at times I'm able to grab that sound and interpret it.
yes.
But sometimes it's got to go from my sound through my clairvoyance, this area here for me to see.
Okay.
So it'll come as you see how you have this subtitle going right now. The live is
Yes.
interactive. I
Yes.
will I will receive this through the wave of, and that's how so I will hear at the same time see it. It's like
Okay.
it's like Steve was talking about his senses.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
I can't say I go by senses. I really don't go by senses. I go by visual. Everything is visual for me.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a little bit of senses where I could feel maybe there is that what Steve's feeling, but most of the time I'm being shown, Rose, I passed away from the lung area or I had an heart. I will be able to see that part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Asma is asking Steve a question. She's saying, how can we communicate with Steve for tarot readings?
Oh, you can email me. That's the easiest way because I would give you my website address, but right now it's being revamped, so it should be launched in a couple of weeks. So Ziad, if you want to put up my email address, that would be great.
Go ahead.
It's energyhealingwithsteve at gmail.com.
Oh, so that's an email.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
can give you the website too, but like I said, it's being fixed right now, so we'll wait a few weeks for that.
At gmail.com.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like mine. I had an incident with mine. Mine went down on Thursday.
yeah,
So I have my ITs Thursday, Friday, and hopefully it's up. I haven't even checked, but it should be up. But
perfect.
Okay.
yeah.
So this
Okay.
is Steve's email address. If you like to communicate with Steve, you can communicate with him through this email address, energyhealingwithsteve at gmail.com. And if you would like to communicate with Rose, you can reach her on her website, www.heavenonearthhealingcenter.com. So this is Rose's website, and this email here is Steve's email.
Sorry, Zia, do you
Go ahead.
do you have that slide with all of our social medias and contact info?
I think yes, I have it, but I did not upload it. Sorry. Uh, uh, I'll bring it soon. I'll
Okay,
bring it soon
perfect.
throughout the conversation. So more questions coming up. Uh, this one is from, I don't want to miss any question. Lena. Lena Gansen is asking, can we feel the spirits of our dead with us? Do they come close to us?
Absolutely. 100%. The presence of their feeling of them even around you could be even sitting beside you, could be
Mhm.
just even a touch or a gentle like feeling of this. Yes, absolutely. They come very close to us. They never leave us.
Alan is asking too, with respect, but how you know it's a dead person, or whether why it's not illusions, or your mind tells you this.
Yes, it's for me, it's not an illusion. It's a knowing. It's
Mm,
something from a very young age, Alan. So it's something I can't explain to you. It's like somebody believing in God or not believing in God, or believing in the universe or believing in anything. The understanding is something that I know deep down inside that this gift was given to me by the above, by God, and I'm here to do God's work. So there is no illusions. There is no any other entities that are coming through in my readings. And
mhm.
this is about me just 100% knowing what I'm here to do during the time in my lifetime on this earth. So I hope I've answered that for you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wasim has a comment. He's saying, I heard my mom's sister's sound and saw her shape once. It was between wake and dream, but I saw her shape and shadow and heard her very clear when she was talking to me. I was surprised.
Thank you for sharing that, Wasim. Thank you. Most of us, um, we do feel, we hear, and we actually see. So some people maybe are not tuned in, they're not tapped in, or they just don't believe in the afterlife, or they just don't want to know about the afterlife. But when you have experienced this beautiful blessing of your mom's sister, um, it's a mom's sister, yes?
Yeah, so that would
Yes.
be his aunt.
Yeah, beautiful. So when you have heard this, it's a very, very beautiful feeling. It allows you
Mhm.
to understand again, there's so much more in the afterlife than just our physical world. Very beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Wasim.
Thank you. And he continues, he says, I swear my mom left it. I swear my mom left it, felt hand touch my elbow, and when I opened my eyes, I saw nothing.
Yes.
I check my mobile, family inform my mom left.
Yes. Very beautiful. You have to see. I had the same experience when my loved one left the physical world. I was able to see my loved one, and
Mm,
they already had passed at that time. So
wow.
Yeah,
yes.
there's, Zia, there's so many signs that we get even on a daily basis that we just seem to either ignore or we're too busy to acknowledge them. So I'll give you a couple
Yeah.
of examples for me.
Yes.
I was on the highway once in the middle of the winter time and I should have got into a huge accident. Okay, should have been a big accident. I got out of the car, I walked around, there was no damage. When I went back into the car, I could smell my grandfather's cigarettes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's a sign from, a loved one. And then I've had signs from pets. So
Hmm.
I'm a huge pet lover. I have had dogs my entire life.
Yes.
And when one of my dogs passed away, uh, you know, not long after that, I felt like the dog jumped onto my bed. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
you feel the thump of the bed, right?
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
no one there,
Yes.
right? That's
Yes.
their spirit. They're telling you that
Exactly.
they're here with you.
Hmm.
Exactly. You know what's interesting because I come from a Catholic background,
Yes.
and my family we always talk about the spirit world. We talk about the angels, the guides, and we talk about everything, no matter what. It's a very open talk. My mom is the first one. She always says my mom comes and sits on my bed every night.
Hmm.
So she always has this visit. She has seen her brother that has departed from the afterlife. She never got a chance to say goodbye to him. but he came to say
Yeah.
goodbye at the
Yes.
time of him leaving. So
Wow.
there is that feeling, that seeing, that knowing. There is. Yes.
From Sweden again, Ahmed Izzat now is joining. Hello,
Mhm.
Ahmed. Ahmed is joining from Sweden and says, hello, Ziad, Rose, and Steve. Hello. Uh, good to see you, Ahmed. Please ask any question if you have about the spirit world, or if you want to communicate with your loved ones. Steve and Rose are here to assist, and they're very gracious. They agreed to
Hmm.
give us those readings.
Or
And yeah, thank you. Can you speak up? Oh, this is another question. Sorry. Who's this? Um, okay, Wasim is saying thanks, Rose and Stephen, for all this. We love you. We sure do. Thank
thank you,
you.
Thank
Wasim. Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Cat
Thank you.
C has a three questions. Can you speak about reincarnation? Do all our loved ones reincarnate immediately after death, or do some of them hang around? I'll leave the answer to Steve and Rose.
Okay.
Rose,
Um,
would you like to go first?
sure.
Yeah.
So I do believe in reincarnation.
Yes.
Not everybody does, but I do believe in reincarnation. And I also believe that some do not reincarnate. At some point they will reincarnate, but there are ones that do still hang around.
Okay.
So this is my understanding to reincarnation.
Yes.
But I do believe that just like an earthbound spirit, that we are still, some are still here and that do not reincarnate. They need time before they reincarnate. But to answer the question, the loved ones do. They can choose to reincarnate. They can choose to.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
They can choose to. Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% because you have to remember we're living souls here, living beings here. We've come to learn a lesson. You know, and then once we pass, our souls go, like Rose had mentioned, they have their journey. And if we have not, if our souls have not learned all the lessons they need to learn, they come back and then reincarnate again, and we learn a different lesson. So that's my belief, and that's what I feel like our journey is about. It's constantly learning.
Hmm. I have a comment, or yeah, it's a comment from Niaz. Niaz saying, I feel strong, man, because I remember my childhood like a movie. Thank you, Ziad and Rose and Steve. Thank you very much. Thank you very much
You're welcome.
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Um, sorry, Yusuf. Uh, yes, of course, Rose. Uh, I got your message. Yusuf has a question. Uh, it's actually a long one. Is it a question or a comment? Let's see. So Steve and I maybe can read this. Yusuf is saying Neil deGrasse Tyson said, if we have people who are in the act of dying and they come back from life and they report on mental experiences, but because it's in the realm of eyewitness testimony, you can establish it only as a personal truth, but it's more than that to establish as it is as an objective truth. An objective truth is the kind of truth science discovers and is true, whether or not you believe in it. It exists outside of culture, religion, and political affiliation. What would you say, Steve?
Oh, okay. So that's yeah, that's a fairly long one.
A very long one, yes.
There's a few components in there. So, okay, I'm going to talk about science a little bit. Okay. So, like I said earlier, science has finally measured that we do have a soul when we pass because our body weight goes down. It's not a lot, it's minuscule. Okay. But science, again, you have to remember science is not everything, right?
Yes.
We've been in our entire lives, no matter how old you are, Science is constantly changing and learning new things, and so on and so forth, right? So science is one category, and then we have a belief, right? So we have a
Yes.
belief about God, we have a belief about our religion, and we have souls and things like that. So I'm not sure if that answers his question, because it's kind of, sorry, I don't know, it's gone
Yes.
off the screen, but
I'll bring it back.
it does science and this stuff mesh together? Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't, because we're constantly, what, as a species, we're looking for that objective proof. We want that proof in front of us, right? Like, I can tell you, am I holding a card? Don't know. Am I telling you now, am I holding a card? Yes.
Yes.
Right. So it's a matter of belief, and it's a matter of perception. Is science always right? No, they're not. That's
Yeah.
why they changed their theories. Science is a theory.
Yes.
So we have to remember that.
Yes. And yeah, it doesn't become fact until it's proven, right?
Right.
This is what we study at school, exactly.
Mhm.
So, Rose, I appreciate your time. I know you need to come off and you have commitments, but I sincerely and really thank you for the
Thank
precious
you.
time and for the knowledge and the things we learned from you about this mysterious world. Any final thoughts that you like to share with us before you leave, please?
I would like to say thank you very much for having me on the show. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Steve, as well. I have to say, my beautiful friend. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you to the audience. Every question is a good question. We
Yes.
are all in search. We all are looking for answers. There's no right and wrong. I say follow your beliefs, what you
Yes.
feel to be true, and just walk the path of light. There's
Mhm.
always light, and this is what we are born into, and this is what we return to.
Thank you
So
so
thank
much.
you.
Ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen, that was Rose DiGiorgio joining us today. Thank you so much, Rose, and I hope to see you again in other
Thank you.
meetings and,
I would
and
love that. Thank you.
interviews. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye
Rose.
to the audience.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So, yeah, Rose has left us, and now Steve and I are here. We'll be talking more. I have more questions coming up, Steve, from Lena. She's asking a question. Sorry, Lena. Where do dead people go?
Okay, so I think Rose kind of answered this one a little bit before.
Yes.
So your physical being, we know where that goes, right? It decomposes. Your soul goes to a different journey, right? It goes through the judgment journey, and Rose was raised Catholic, and I'm the same, so we believe in heaven. It really all depends on what you believe in,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you believe in for mediumship,
Yes.
because when it comes to mediumship, you can communicate no matter what the religion is.
Okay. Fantastic. Rula is reminding us of Steve's Sunday weekly tarot readings. And
So
he promised to do a tarot reading for
yes,
us today.
I've got some cards in front of me.
There you go.
So yeah, let me just elaborate on Rula, and thank you, Rula, for saying that.
Yes.
So every Sunday night, I typically do live tarot with one of the panels here. One of the people on the panel can't see, and we go through the weekly tarot reading for the general collective. And what that means, Ziad, is we pull cards and we interpret a message. And it's kind of like a message for everybody that listens to it, and you pick and choose what you resonate with. Okay.
Where do you do that?
That'll be live on Instagram and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And my handle on both of them is Energy Healing with Steve. It's all one word. Okay.
At Energy Healing with Steve, or just
Yeah.
Energy Healing?
Oh, geez, I don't know how. I think it's at Energy Healing with Steve.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've already put your handle here.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I can see it. Okay. Continue, please.
And then Kat and I, what we'll do is we'll ask the live audience members, do you want a reading? Do you have a specific question? And both Kat and myself will pull a card each and interpret that message for that question or that person.
Mhm.
Okay. Again, it's just a little snippet. It's kind of like what Rose did for the medium reading.
Yes.
And then if you want like a full-on reading, there's different readings I do give people. So it could be like a year-long reading. It could be a situational reading. There's a 5-card reading. And just, depending on what you want, everything, I can pretty much answer everything within a half an hour. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you can book me for half an hour, and then we go from there.
Fantastic. Ahmed is saying thank you. We will be in touch after the program for sure. Yusuf is asking, where is the body? Where in the
In the body.
body is the soul located?
Oh, that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that question 100% for sure.
Isn't it supposed to be everywhere in the body, or?
For me, the way
I believe it's like another body wearing your body, or the
like
other
if
way
I look
around?
from a spiritual practice, okay,
Okay.
like you think of auras, okay, people have auras around them, different color, different light energies, different frequencies, okay.
Okay.
So I feel like, yes, like you mentioned, Ziad, your soul is everywhere. Where it's created, it doesn't say where it's created. It just says where in the body is the soul. So
Looking
yeah, that's everywhere. That is everywhere. There's
all
not a
over it,
specific.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
It maybe wears our body, or our body wears it, because the way I understand soul, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like the generator, or the machine that makes this body alive and kicking.
It's who you are as a person, basically. It's
Mm-hmm.
your insides. It's how you behave. It's how you live on a day-to-day basis, right? Your
Yes.
physical being is just what carries you through that journey.
Okay. So there are thank you messages to Rose. Unfortunately, she's left, but I hope she sees them after the show. Thank you, Rose, very much, from Asma Al Chalabi. Niaz, thank you for your time. Yusuf is saying thank you, Rose. Wasim is saying we thank you both for all these. For all in here, and special thank you to our host, Zias. Thank you, my dear. Ahmed is saying bye, Rose. Uh, Alan has a question. What about if someone is unbelievable? Where he go, under which is law?
Oh, under
Law.
which law, maybe?
Under what? Yeah, I think he means if an unbeliever dies, where would they go? Maybe that's what I understood from the message.
Yeah, I
Correct me
think,
if I'm wrong.
yeah, I think it doesn't matter whether you're a believer or unbeliever. Everyone has a soul.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's who we are, right? So I believe someone may go to heaven. Someone else may believe they go somewhere else. And the unbelievers, they just don't know where the soul goes, right?
Mm,
So you could be reincarnated into another form.
okay.
So really your soul never dies. Let's put it that way. It exists forever. And there's times where it's like deja vu as well. Okay. You bump into somebody on the street and you feel like you've known them for years,
Mm,
right?
mm.
That could be your previous life, your previous soul in another form that has crossed with that soul in another form.
Yes.
Okay. So again, this is a whole other topic.
Mm.
And this is why I don't believe that the souls ever die. They continue to exist. Where they go, it's up to you what you believe.
And that resonates with many religions and philosophies,
Yes.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, some answers, Alan says the soul is in the heart. Uh, Ahmed is asking a question. Is the tarot reading always right, or is it like a hunch? Or does it depend on something else? That
Okay.
quiz for Steve.
Yeah, no. It depends on what you're saying always right. So tarot's very interesting that way. So if you ask me a specific question, am I going to win the lottery?
Mm,
It's not necessarily going to give you that answer. Tarot is going to give you the answer that you are supposed to hear, not always the answer to the specific question. So what can happen is if someone asks me about the lottery, am I going to win the lottery? You're not going to get a yes or no answer. You might get, you know what, this is what's happening in your present moment. Maybe you're okay financially in the present moment. In the future, I can see, you know what, maybe not so good, or maybe you get more money. But it's not going to say whether it comes in from a lottery or a job or a sale of something. It gives you like a general things are being uplifted or going lower. It gives you a direction.
I see.
So I hope that kind of answers the question.
Yeah.
Now, in saying that, depending on what you ask me, tarot can be very, very accurate. So a lot of the clients that I have had have commented on the accuracy of my reading. So when it comes to your present line and in your recent past, whatever I pull is usually very, very accurate. Okay. And obviously for the future line, we don't know yet because we haven't hit that.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Let's move on with the questions. I have more questions coming from, it's actually a comment from Cat C regarding the soul.
Yes.
You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body.
That's right.
So the soul lives in that body, and when the body dies, the soul goes back to its creator.
That's correct. That's why I was saying our physical body is what takes us through this journey.
Yes.
Right? Our soul is within us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alan, it's clear. He's clarifying. He says unbeliever, or non-believer in English. We say
that's okay.
It's okay. We got the message. Thank you. Yusuf, so is it possible to take a picture or x-ray of the soul to find it?
I don't know about medical devices, so I'm not sure to answer that question.
But you mentioned that it has been filmed before.
That's right. So
there is a video evidence.
There is video evidence. I've seen it on YouTube, to be quite honest. And so the body is lying on like a bed, right? It's a scale, right?
Yes.
It's a scale, and there's like video cameras in the room.
Yes.
And as the person passes, you can see like a white light, like a white smoke kind of thing leaves the body, and the scale reduces in weight. It's very, very minimal. Now, to answer his question about x-rays, I don't think x-rays do it. However, I do believe that there are organizations out there that are trying to find, and I'm not going to mention their names, they're trying to find the soul and maybe disturb the soul or capture the soul or mess with our souls. So yes, I do believe there are organizations out there that are trying that. Whether or not they're successful, I don't know.
Yeah. I would like to say hello to Harith Saleh. Welcome, Harith. Unfortunately, I came late. I was driving since early morning. It's good you came. That's wonderful. Ahmed is saying, thank you, Stephen. That's very helpful.
You're welcome.
And Alan is speaking about tarot reading. You know what? Maybe we can give Alan a reading. Let's see. So maybe we can convert him and make him a believer.
Now I'm being put on the spot.
Let's see. Alan is saying, reading tarot is depending on what? I mean, from where you get the information? From the universe? If yes, what kind of data?
Okay. So that's a good question. So I'm going to bring up a card just as an example. Okay.
For Alan?
No, just in general, just to explain or answer his question.
Okay, good.
So tarot, there's 78 cards in the tarot deck. Okay. It's comprised of 3 categories: a minor arcana, major arcana, and court cards. Okay, the card that I'm going to show you right now, I don't want you to take this as an evil card because I'm going to explain the meaning of it. Okay, it's the devil. Okay, so I'm using this card on purpose for several reasons. Okay, number one, people think that tarot is evil or satanic or things like that, and that's because of Hollywood and what Hollywood has done. Okay. Tarot is nothing more than a bunch of cards, and each card has their meaning. Okay. And so when you combine several cards together, it gives you a story.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this card specifically, the Devil card, is all about addictions to sex, drugs, and alcohol. It's also about being chained to certain things that you can't break free from. And if you look here, you see like he's like a puppet master, right? He's holding the strings. So this could be someone in your life that's controlling you, someone who's manipulating you. So what you do is you interpret the card into real life perspective.
Okay.
Okay. So another card would be the Hierophant. And this card is all about spirituality. It's about religion. It's about structure, organization.
Okay.
Right? So when you combine 2 or 3 cards together, it gives you a little bit of a story for that person.
Okay.
Now, where do I get the information from? Directly from the cards and what they mean. Now, so it's interesting. So when I read tarot, I will sometimes get messages or intuitive hits. So as an example, we'll go back to the Devil card, okay? I will sit there and I'll look at the meaning of the cards. I'll give you the overall story, but then there might be something of the card that's drawing me. So, for example, there's a star, okay, on the chest. And I'll tell the person, the client, I don't know why, but I'm drawn to that star. Can you tell me how you resonate with that? And then they start telling me a story. And they're like, how did you know to ask me that?
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of how tarot works. So I
Cool.
hope I answered the question.
Cool. Thank you. Back to the soul issue. Yusuf is asking, but the soul is not material. So how does that happen? I appreciate you, Stephen, for all the answers.
Yes. So and I understand where he's coming from, because especially in religion, right? Like being Catholic, the soul is how can you explain? You always think of this white light, right? That's inside of you.
Yes.
But I want to say this to everybody out there. Remember, whatever it is, we are all energy. Okay? Now, when we see something like this, the energy is very heavy and very dense.
I have the same.
Oh my God. Yeah, Costco. Thank you, Costco. So the energy is very dense and it vibrates at a level where we are able to see it with our eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you think of a spirit, a lot of times they're beside us. We can't see them.
Yes.
Okay. So they vibrate at a different frequency. And we know that energy, matter, always has some kind of a weight, even if it's minuscule. Right? So what I was talking about before, about that body on the bed, and when the soul left, it changed the weight of the body. What I'm saying is it didn't change it in pounds. Okay, it changed it super, super small. Like you need a sensitive scale to actually get that measurement.
Yes.
Right. And so because we are all energy, the frequencies and the energy, they all have different weights. They all have different components. I hope that makes sense.
True. Makes perfect sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Asma Chalabi is asking, when tarot reading, how do the cards communicate with the person who asked for the reading, I believe?
Yeah. So again, what I do for my readings is I'll shuffle the cards, and if it's for you, Asma, what I'll do is I'll ask, and you ask me a question about, let's say, your career. As I'm
why don't we make a demonstration? Like someone can ask a question. What do you recommend? They would ask a question, a personal question, or just do a general reading for someone. What do you like to do, Steve?
Yeah, I don't want to get into personal things because that'll be like a one-on-one if they want a personal thing.
Okay.
But yeah, like we can do a quick career reading or something like that. That's fine. And what I can do,
I can volunteer.
I was just gonna say, if you can volunteer, and then we can show people how it works.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so what kind of a reading would you like, Ziad?
would you like to do a career one or
Yeah, we can do career.
career?
Absolutely.
Sure. Let's see.
And do you have question, or you just want a general reading about the career?
General reading about the career, because I still don't have any questions, and I'm not thinking of changing careers.
All right. And we know you have multiple careers. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Journalism, teaching, and translation and interpretation.
All right.
Oh, Yusuf wants a reading for him too. Okay, Yusuf, after me. You will.
Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
I'm getting nervous now.
So I'm just dividing the cards, and what I do is I always close my eyes because I don't want any influence. I just want to feel it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So Ziad, I'm giving you a little bit of a bigger spread, okay, because I know you have multiple careers and so on. So I want to see what the messages are coming through.
Okay.
So now the current situation card that I have for you is the 9 of Pentacles, but it's upside down. Okay.
Which means?
Okay, so in the upright position, it means somebody who's worked very hard and they've made a lot of money, they're self-sufficient, they're now enjoying the money.
Mhm.
Okay. In the reverse position, it's kind of showing there's a block in achieving that. Okay, so you might have your jobs, your work, your careers, but they're not bringing you enough of the income, okay, to be able to splurge or to enjoy that kind of money.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, now
Yes.
a clarifier card to that is the 9 of Cups, and that is also upside down.
Oh my God.
So in the upright position, okay,
Yes.
it's talking about happiness and joy.
Okay.
Okay. In the reverse position, again, it's clarifying this card. So what it's telling me is there is a lack of happiness or a little bit of sadness going on because you're not making enough money. You're not bringing in the money you should be making. Okay. Is that correct?
That's very correct.
Okay. Now,
Oh my God.
I want to go a little bit into your so this is the reading I'm giving you is somewhat of like a full reading what I would typically give a person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But shortened a little bit.
Okay.
In your recent past, I've got an upside down card of the 5 of Pentacles. In this position, again, it also talks about a little bit of despair when it comes to money. And you can see she's kind of down and she's feeling sad, and the money's behind this door, but she's not seeing the key. The key's over here.
Yes.
Okay. Now in the reverse position, again, Ziad, this is more of an internal struggle for you. Okay. When the card is upside down, it means one of a few things. There's a block or there's an internal struggle. Okay. So what I feel like in your recent past, you've been maybe struggling with the careers that you're actually involved in because they're not bringing in enough income for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now your present moment, okay, your present moment is the 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords is sometimes the general meaning of the card is it's almost thievery. So it's like you're getting away with something. Okay. I'm not interpreting that literal meaning of the card for you. What I'm feeling right now from that card that has just come up is Swords is an element of truth and intellect. Okay. And so what that present card, what it's telling me is, yes, you need to use your brain. You're very, very smart. Okay. But it's also telling me you speak the truth. Absolutely. 100%. But there are moments where you feel like running away from everything. Is that correct?
You blew me off. It's 100% accurate.
Okay.
100%.
So that's your present line. Okay.
Wow.
The 2 9s and the 7 of Swords. Okay. I do have a future line for you. We'll go through it very, very quickly.
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You've got the Ace of Swords in reverse.
Why is everything in reverse?
Well, We will get there, okay?
Okay.
I'll explain that. We've got in the upright position, swords, like I was saying, it's about intellect.
Okay.
Okay. So when it's the ace, it's at the beginning of the journey. So it's talking about new ideas.
Okay.
Okay. So in your near future, because it's reversed, what it's telling me is if you are currently thinking of any new ideas to implement or try something new,
Yes.
it's not going to quite happen in your near future. There's something that's stopping it. There's a block.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
And
And how do I remove this?
hold on. Let me continue.
There's still more to it. Oh my God.
There's two more cards. So I'm going to keep this here.
Okay.
The next card beside it, you've got the
Oh, we lost Steve. I hope his phone didn't die. Okay. As you see, readings for me, and that was a bit discouraging, but there is hope. There is a silver lining to everything. Steve is back. So welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. I don't know why that happened.
Okay.
Okay. So back to your future. We have the intellect card.
Can you connect the audio again, because there's an issue with the audio?
No, hang on. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yes, it's perfect now.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
Very
sorry
good.
about that.
Okay. Yeah, continue, please.
So back to the block of the intellect card, the block of the new idea. On one side, you've got the King of Wands, again in reverse. Now, I'm going to say this. The king represents a person. It's an archetype. So I want you to think in your life right now. Now, the king is generally somebody who's very strong, very passionate. They have a lion energy. When it's in reverse, the way it is here, this could represent somebody who they overreact very quickly. They're impatient. They fly off the handle. Okay. Do you know anybody like that in your life?
Who is impatient?
They're a very strong person. They have a lot of energy.
Yes.
But sometimes what happens is they react to something that you might do.
Okay. Yeah, there are.
Okay, so keep that in mind because there might be multiple, right?
Okay.
So again, this is your future line. So think of that person in the future. Okay, so as the future line is 6 months to a year from now.
Okay.
Okay, so as you're going through that journey and you're approaching this new idea that you want to implement, see if there's someone to the side of you that might be interfering with that. That's what it's telling me. There's someone that might be influencing you or interfering with you with that new idea. And on the other side, I've got the Four of Cups. Okay, the Four of Cups is a little bit, again, it's about despair, some sadness going on. Okay, but I will say that there is a positive spin to this card. Now, if you look at this card, she's focusing on the empty cups.
Yes.
But there is one that's full, and it's full of joy. So what that's telling me, Ziad, in your near future with this idea that's not happening, maybe there's a reason for it not happening. So don't feel sad about it. Look at it from a different perspective and look at it, oh, maybe that's why it didn't happen. It was a good idea it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your future line. So you can see how you automatically resonate with the present line and the past. Because we've been through this, so you understand what I'm saying. But the future line, you don't understand yet, and neither do I, because you haven't lived it.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Thank you. Yes, perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yusuf wants a reading, Asma wants a reading, and Wasim wants a reading too. You pick. Would you like to choose to start with Yusuf, Asma, or Wasim?
Whoever you put up on the screen first.
Okay, so I think Yusuf asked first, so let's go with Yusuf, if that's okay. Yusuf, remain on the line so you can answer questions if Steve wants to ask you a certain thing. Or you can call. It's up to you. Yeah.
And this is how I met Rula. by the way. It was on your channel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah,
Okay.
Rola
So
lives in Toronto.
yeah. So who am I reading for first?
Yusuf. We will
Yusuf.
start with Yusuf. Yusuf.
All right. And does he have a specific question or just a general reading?
Yusuf, do you have a specific question or just a general? Let's give him a general regarding
Okay.
life and job, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll look at career. How's that?
Career. Yusuf, we'll look at your career. Okay, Yusuf has answered general.
Yeah. General. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So it's interesting, Zia, because he got a couple of cards that you got as well. And you saw me shuffling them.
Yes.
So, okay. So the first card that I've got is a little bit career related. It's the same one you got. It's the
Oh,
Nine of Pentacles in reverse.
geez.
Okay.
Okay.
So I feel like, and then the next card he got is the King of Wands in reverse. So those are the two cards that are similar to you.
Mhm.
So I want to say that maybe in his career, I don't know what he does for a living. Again, he might not be getting paid enough for what he's actually doing.
Mhm.
But I also want to say something about, I feel like there's someone at his workplace, maybe his boss or somewhat at a higher level, because the king, okay, is somebody who is a leader. Okay, this, when it comes to work, this king is a leader on projects and they know how to delegate work. Okay, when it's in reverse, I feel like either this person doesn't know what they're doing, but they are in a leadership position, or they have a strong influence over how much money you make. So they could be your boss. Okay, so let's continue on.
Mhm.
Now, and if this is making, you said it's Yusuf, right?
Yusuf, yes.
Yeah. So Yusuf, if this is making sense right now, let us know.
Yeah,
Okay.
say yes. I can answer for him. It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense
Okay.
because I know
So,
Yusuf very well.
oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next card I've got is the Nine of Swords. So what I'm seeing here right now, it's very possible that he's going through a lot of anxiety and through sleepless nights right now.
True.
Okay.
True.
And that is because of this situation that he's in.
Very
Okay.
true. Very true.
Now, there is someone else in his life, the Queen of Cups. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, she is somebody in the upright position. She's somebody who's manifesting. She's a healer. She's a very motherly figure.
Okay.
Okay. Now, in the reverse position, which is the way it came out for him, she's somebody who is going to be unbalanced and she could be very mean. Okay. So, this again could be at your work environment. Okay. So, think about your work environment right now. Is there a woman there that is in charge, or she has influence over the king, or they're treating you in a very bad way? Okay. So, think
I
about
don't
that.
know about that, so maybe he can answer
He
that.
might know about that.
Good.
And then the last card that I've got for him is the Knight of Swords. Okay,
Mhm.
so what this is telling me, Yusuf, the Knight of Swords is somebody who's very intelligent and very methodical, and they know how to plan. Okay, and they're very action oriented, so they like to get things done. But you can also see this person seems to be running away, running for their motorcycle. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what I feel like is that Yusuf might, if this is his career relationship, okay, I feel like he's looking to get away from it and find something new. And he's trying to do that in a hurry and he's trying to plan it out. Okay. So does that make sense?
Answer, Yusuf. Does that make any sense for you? Okay, I would ask for another reading for Sanaria
Yeah.
from Arlington, Virginia.
Welcome,
Sanaria
my
is here with
neighbor.
us. Yes, our neighbors from DC.
Virginia.
Virginia, yes. They're close to DC, right?
Honestly, I'm not good with geography.
Just across the bridge, I guess. Yeah.
I just know that is in the United States of America.
It's a very short drive from Arlington
Yes,
to DC. So yeah, Scenaria is asking for a reading if that's possible.
absolutely.
Scenario, what do you like to know about your personal life, career, uh, spiritual? Yusuf is saying thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
So now we're back with Scenaria.
Okay.
She says general will
General.
do. Thank
All
you.
right.
Yes.
Now, I will say one thing. As I'm flipping the cards, if there's cards that keep showing up in all the readings that I do for people, they're like similar cards.
Mhm.
That means that is a message for everybody that's listening to this. It's like a general message for everybody. There's a meaning for that.
Okay.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. So I want to pronounce the name right. Scenaria.
Scenaria.
Scenaria. Okay.
Scenaria. Yes, correct.
Scenaria, are you going through a little bit of issues right now? Again, this card came up twice now.
Mhm.
Are you going through a little bit of sleepless nights, a little bit of issue, a little bit of anxiety right now? Is there something that's on your mind that's bothering you? Okay. Now, next to that card, I've got some clarifying messages. So this is the Six of Swords in reverse. What this is talking about in the upright position is you moving away from rough waters to calm waters. So if you're in the middle of chaos right now and you're trying to get away, that's what's going to happen. But because it's reverse, what it's telling me is you're stuck and you cannot get away from that situation that's causing turbulence in your life or chaos in your life. Okay. And then I've got the Nine of Wands in reverse. So what that indicates for me is in the upright position, this is about you setting boundaries and you're setting a wall for yourself. Okay. But because it's in reverse, what it's telling me is you've let your guard down. You've let your boundaries down. And so people are now able to penetrate that. And maybe that's what's causing the sleepless nights or the anxiety, and you not being able to move away from that. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
Now, my advice to you is to see. So she's saying yes. Okay.
Yes,
My
yes.
advice to you is the Two of Wands. Okay. The Two of Wands is looking. It's about making a decision. Okay. And you can see, and I feel like Scenaria, you are very close in making a decision already. You know the path that you want to go. Okay. And the reason why I say that is there's two wands in this card. Okay. And what she's holding one of the wands, the other one is put aside. So what that's telling me is you already know the direction you want to go. You just haven't made your decision yet. You haven't made your mind up. The other thing that this also means is to get away, and maybe you need to get away and travel. So you can see that there's a globe here.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. So your decision may involve moving. It may involve getting away. It may involve taking a vacation and getting away from this situation that you're in. And then if you do that, you have the most amazing outcome. You've got the sun.
Mhm.
Okay. The sun is all about happiness. It's about joy. Okay. So again, the cards are saying you need to make that decision happen, activate it, make it happen. And then the outcome is going to be very, very positive for you.
She's answering, oh my God, so much in need for a break.
Yes. That's what it's saying. She needs to get away.
Yes, I can say she's overworked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Is that all for Scenaria?
Yes.
Okay, because many are asking. Okay, so we will do as much as his time permits. Sorry, Steve, I don't want to pressure you. I'll leave it to you. Like whenever you feel like you're done, just let me know, please. Okay.
All
Would you
right.
like
I
to do
will.
another reading?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. For Ahmed Izzat in Sweden.
Okay.
So this is going overseas now.
All right. Is it
General.
general?
Yes, he's
Okay.
saying general, please. That's his comment on the screen.
Okay. Okay, something tells me right away Ahmed is a leader and he's very, very intelligent. So with Ahmed, I got the King of Swords. The King of Swords, as you can see, somebody's extremely intelligent, surrounded by, you can see all the different types of animals that take flight. Okay, so what that means is the swords is also an air element. Okay, and that's why you see a lot of animals in this picture. Now the King of Swords, he's been through a lot in life, a lot of ups and downs. Okay, when it comes to possibly communication, contracts, intellect. So you've maybe had a lot of ideas and starting new businesses and so on, and some of them have failed and some of them have done well. So it's like an up and down roller coaster, but you're finally now at the top. Okay, so to me it seems like you're successful. Okay, now the next card I have some clarification on the King of Swords is the Hangman, and it's in reverse. When it's in this position, what it's telling me is you need to look at the world from a different perspective. So not always focus in the path, look outside of the path. Okay, now you got it in reverse. So what that's telling me is look within yourself to find out what made you so successful so that you can continue doing that. Okay, now I will say something else. The next card that he's got is the Moon, and the Moon is about illusions, and this is what we call the hidden influences. So there are things around him that are deceiving him, so he needs to be very careful. There's a little bit of an illusion going on. And then we've got the advice. We've got the Page of Pentacles upside down. Oops. This way, okay, it is about somebody who's delivering messages regarding career, work, and finances. So in the reverse position, these messages are not being given to him. They're being blocked somehow. Okay. And I feel like it has something to do with this illusion. Okay. You're not able to see through or see clearly through what's happening in your life. And then last but not least, I don't want you to be afraid of this card. It's the Death card. Okay. What that means, Ahmed, is there's something that you need to let go of so that something new can start. So you can see it says death and rebirth. So there's something that you're hanging on to that you need to let go so that a new path, a new journey can start. And I don't know, does that make sense to you?
So in other words, open up for something else instead of holding on to something from his past or in his life.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I hope that explains things. How does it resonate with you, Ahmed? We'll wait for your answer. So let's make them shorter so that we can accommodate as many as possible.
Okay, I'll do 3 cards.
Wasim is from Sweden as well, and he's asking for a reading if it's possible.
Yep. And just general, I'm assuming?
General. Give them all general, please.
Okay.
And let's make it short so that we can accommodate a larger number of friends.
Yep.
And the call is always yours. You can always ask me when to quit.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so Wasim, I'm going to do a past, present, future. Okay. Wasim, in your past, there was, I got the Justice card, but it's upside down. What that indicates to me, there's been some injustice in your life. Or injustice. So something that's not fair, and you feel like that person should have been, I don't know, should have been either judged or taken care of or disciplined or something like that. And then your present moment card is indicating to me the Knight the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is in reverse. What that's telling me is you're not taking enough action, or you're taking action and you're thinking about it before you do it, which is a good thing. Okay. And then your near future, Page of Wands, indicating to me that you're going to get some kind of a message to start either a new project, a new passion, maybe a new hobby in your life. Okay. So I just want to say to Wasim, you can see that with 3 cards only, the messages are a lot shorter and they're more vague. The more cards I can pull, the more clear the message becomes.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to call upon Asma if she's still here. Just write yes so I can proceed with the reading for Asma. If she's left, then I'll move on with someone else. So just write quickly, yes, I'm here, Asma, so I can do a reading with you. Yes, Asma is still here.
Okay. And Wasim, let us know if that made sense about your past and present. Obviously, we don't know the future yet.
He says, yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So this is for Asma, correct?
Yes. And Wasim says, thanks a lot. It sure helped a lot.
Good.
So let's have a reading for Asma. Also a quick one. Sorry,
Okay.
because I have so many asking, so we need to
Absolutely
be short.
Okay, Asma. The first card I've got in your recent past is the 10 of Pentacles, indicating to me that if you have a family, whether it be your parents or you have a family with, you're married with kids or whatever, that's indicating to me that financially you guys are doing well. There's no need to worry in the recent past. In the present moment, we've got the World in reverse, indicating to me in this position, it's about closing a chapter in your life and starting something new. But because you had it in reverse, I feel like you want to start something new. The doors are ready to, the window's ready to close, but a new door is ready to open, but it's not happening just yet. And there's a block. And so you need to figure out what that block is so that you can open it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the near future, we've got the Knight of Swords, indicating to me that, you know what, you will be in a position to take a lot of action. And when you do that, you will be planning it and carrying it out with success.
Mm-hmm.
And does that make sense, Asma?
Asma, does that make any sense for you? Okay, fantastic. Zina Zoma asked for a reading as well. Can I ask for my future life?
Okay, so I'll pull a few cards for the future and see what comes up.
Okay.
And as I'm doing this, Ziad, I will say there's certain things that tarot readers do not read. They don't read for medical issues.
Yes.
Okay. Legal issues.
Legal.
And specific financial issues, because there are expertise in those fields, like doctors and lawyers and things. Okay. Okay. So.
Gotcha.
Zina. I feel like I read for Zina before in your previous life.
Maybe.
So let's see, because the name sounds familiar. Zina Zoma. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So Zina, you got the same first card the previous person got. 10 of Pentacles, and you saw me shuffling. Okay. So Zina, I want to say that in your near future, financially seems to be it's going to be okay. Okay. I don't see any issues. There's going to be a point though where you need to be quiet and you need to do self-reflection. Maybe you've been too busy and you're going to experience a little bit of burnout, but just slow it down, take the time out and learn to be with yourself, learn to meditate, learn to heal. And then lastly, I've got the Empress. Okay, the Empress here, you can see she looks pregnant. And what that typically means is that it's a mother figure. She's very caring, very nurturing. She's also connected to the moon, so a lot of intuition. So I feel like Zina, this card tells me it's not the pregnancy thing. What I feel like is you're very intuitive. So in the near future, make sure that after you become in touch with yourself and you heal, you're going to develop some intuitive strength.
Hmm.
Okay.
Perfect. Hanadi from London, UK.
Oh,
Uh,
welcome.
she's saying, can I have a reading, please, for my career? I'm about to graduate my PhD and want to know what is there for me.
Okay.
Obviously, she wants to become a professor, I believe. Or maybe she is now a professor.
Okay.
And Hanadi will be the last reading for today.
Okay. So Hanadi, I've got the Two of Swords in reverse. In the upright position, this is about you making a decision, and you need to use your intuition or your heart to do it. But it's in reverse. So that's telling me that you are contemplating on making a path. You're trying to figure out which way you want to go, but you're not sure. And there's a block for you doing that, right? You can't decide. Once you decide, we've got the Page of Pentacles indicating to me that, you know what, there is going to be a new career happening. So Pentacles is about career, work, and finances, and it's in the young stages. So this is something new for you, a new beginning. And then we've got the Five of Wands. In this position, it's usually about conflict, okay? And in this position, the way it was pulled, could be some internal conflict. So what that's indicating to me is that maybe that new position that you're taking, the new opportunity, you might be struggling inside, once you're in it, struggling inside whether or not it is the right path for you, okay? So keep that in mind. But yes, there is something new coming.
Thank you, Steve. Zena is saying thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hanadi, good luck with your PhD. Congratulations in advance. And Niaz is asking for a reading.
Sure.
Okay, Niaz, you're the last one. Sorry, I lied. Sorry, I lied.
It's okay. All right, Niaz. Absolutely.
And like we said, if you want more readings and communicate with Steve, I've been showing the handle and his email address. So please communicate with him directly, and he will be happy to assist. Niaz is the last reading for the day.
Okay, Niaz, the first card I've got it's related to work and career, okay? And it's the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. In the upright position, you're looking at mastering your career. So you are extremely good at it. In the reverse, that's indicating you're almost there. You're almost at that level, but there's something that's stopping you from achieving that mastery. So you need to figure out what that is, okay? Once you figure out what that is, you have the Sun, indicating to me that's extreme. It's a happy joy card, right? And it's very positive. So that means that once you master your job, your career, you're gonna experience a lot of happiness and joy with it. And then the last card I've got is the Six of Cups in reverse. In the upright position, this is about thinking about your past. It's about nostalgia. It's bringing back memories, okay? In the reverse position, what it's telling me is once you master your job and you have that happiness factor within you, you're not going to be thinking about your past anymore. You're just going to continue and you're going to go forward. Okay? I hope that makes sense.
I hope so. Steve, thank you so much for the valuable time and the readings and all the information. It was really a pleasure. And I always happy to have you over and in this show. So please keep coming back.
We will. We'll do another session with Rose and myself.
I'm looking forward for that. Definitely. Thank you so much. And this is going to be now recorded on my YouTube channel. There will be some video editing for the very small and minor hiccups that happened at the beginning of the show, but I will repost it again with video editing. So please feel free to join and communicate with Steve. The email is on the screen: energyhealingwithsteve@gmail.com. Email him and he will be happy to assist. Asma is saying, thank you, Ziad. That was an interesting topic. I enjoyed every minute. Many thanks for Rose and Stephen.
Thank you, Asma.
Niaz is saying, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
And Wasim is saying, thanks a lot, please.
Thank you.
It's more than great. And Niaz is telling you, you will come every day.
I wish. I hope so. We will do more, I promise.
There will be more, definitely. He's very generous, and I hope he will come back again. So thank you, Steve, for everything. Thank you, everyone. This is Ziad Tariq Rashid signing off, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Steve. Thank you.
Bye.